The conscious man.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast.
What is a conscious man? Alrighty.
All right, bro.
Carlos Rivera.
Let's
What's
do
up,
this.
brother?
How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Finally back to my normal life. So
Yeah. Hell
doing
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we'll get into everything that happened to you, but first question I always ask my guests, because it's called the conscious man.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, what does it mean to be a conscious man?
My opinion, to be a conscious man is to be realistic. Be realistic about what's really going on in life.
Mm.
You know, really be conscious about what's going on, the circumstances, everything. That's the logic behind it. Being aware, obviously, being aware of simply being aware of what's going on, being conscious about everything around you.
So, like facing reality in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. You know, like there's just so many things that could make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
You know what I mean?
So many men are turning away from reality. And
Exactly.
just escaping.
Yeah.
Right. And so many men, I think, do that unconsciously. So
yeah, it's an easier way out in some cases.
Easier way out. Exactly. Yeah. Distract yourself with whatever, whatever you're feeling, whatever's going on in your life, and not facing the music in a sense.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good way to say it.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about you, where you come from, your story a little bit.
So, obviously my name, Carlos Rivera. I moved up to Salt Lake here in 2019. I started just because of work.
Where'd you move from?
Arizona, Yuma, okay. Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, right. It's a border town right there. Mexico right there is a few minutes out, and you could cross the border.
Sure.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. That's the city where my parents are from. So so that's right. That's where I came from. I grew up over there. Super hot right now. It's like 120 degrees right now.
Shit.
It's crazy. Yeah, but born and raised there. Went to elementary, obviously middle school, high school, and then college there. And I was working there out for a little bit, but it was just way too hot. And an opportunity came up. There was this massive project going on. And the company told me they would come over to Salt Lake City. I'd never even known nothing about Utah. And we started out in California, went over there for a year. And then they told me, you want to come to Salt Lake City? Come with us. We really like you. We want you to stay with us. So.
And what job was that?
That was welding bridges for the railroad, Union Pacific Railroad.
So you're a welder?
Yeah,
cool.
Welding. Yep, I've done welding since high school, since I first started. My dad's always been in the field, so I kind of started getting into it, and I tried it, and my instructor Ron Pixley, he was a great guy and taught me everything, and he actually told me there was a degree up for grabs that I got nominated for, so he's like, you better do it. And
cool.
Yeah, it was all paid for. I didn't get in debt or nothing, so I moved forward with it, and it was a good decision. I never really, I don't know, I believed in the system back then, but I was like, you know what?
Sure.
I'm not getting debt, might as well do it. And I don't regret it. It was good. It was fun. And then, it's paid off now, as I could see it as the years gone by. Yeah. Now I'm doing a complete different thing. I do safety for the mine here. So I completely changed careers, but for the better. For the better.
Sure.
It was good. Yeah, especially at this time with what happened, it was a good position to be in, where I could be outside, at home, still kind of working from a computer.
Okay, sure. So you're doing that now?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I am 26.
26.
Yeah.
Okay.
26.
So tell me a little bit more about your story and what you've experienced the past few years.
So in the past few years, since I was 21, that's when I left my hometown.
Okay.
I was always by myself. This one's a good one with the conscious man, right? So I was 21. I got my first travel job with them. I applied. Everything was good. So they're like, all right, well, pack your bags. You're going to California, Sacramento.
Mhm.
And I remember telling my mom, hey, Mom, I put my 2-week notice. I'm leaving the house. I just got my degree. She's like, you're really leaving? I'm like, yeah, I'm heading out. They offered me, it was good money. I was like, and I'm gonna get out of here. And my goal is to never come back. A lot of people from my hometown leave and they say they hate it, and then they come back within a few months
Yeah.
or a year.
Sure.
They don't last long, and I know why now. But so I left. I landed in Sacramento, live in hotel with my bags, and then I was staying at an Airbnb, and I noticed real quick I was the young guy of the crew. All the other roommates, I guess, were a lot older than me.
Yeah.
40s, 50s. So I started feeling a little out of place. I was barely 21. A lot of my friends were going to the bars, doing this, doing that, having fun, And I was just working. And then on top of it all, they put me to work the night shift
Okay.
on the railroad.
Yeah.
So I remember I would clock in at 8 p.m. and get out at 6 a.m. the next morning. And it was a little rough, especially starting off. I didn't sign up for that, but
Sure.
it's how it is, whatever the job requires. So yeah, I remember doing that. I would wake up at 2. I'm definitely a morning guy. I'm up at 5 a.m. almost every day. But
You're crazy, bro.
yeah, 5, 6 a.m. because of the job.
I'm not a morning person at all.
yeah, it's tough. But I just been used to it throughout the years,
Yeah, sure.
And so then yeah, I'm there. I remember, and my dad does this for a living up to this day. He travels 6 months to California, 6 months in Arizona.
Okay. Sure.
For agricultural.
Cool.
So when I was there, I believe it was only a month or 2 months, and I was feeling out of place. I was waking up at 2 p.m., kind of eating, showering, and going back to work. And I started getting a little overwhelmed. I remember I was on the KFC drive-thru, and I called my dad, and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I'm like, how'd you do it all these years to provide for us, and do it without hesitation? I'm only here for, like I said, a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started feeling the burn being away from my family, my loved ones.
Yeah, sure.
So I started, I just started thinking. My dad, I remember clearly, he told me, well, you could come back. The house is obviously here for you. Or you're gonna call it in Spanish, te vas a amarrar un huevo. You're gonna tie it up a knot and you're gonna suck it up,
Yeah.
And that just made me say, like, oh shit. Like, my dad just, he told me this. So you know what? I'm not gonna go back. I'm gonna suck it through, and I'm gonna make it through. And then after that phone call, we didn't talk for a few days, and I just kept showing up. And the project started getting cooler, and I was just a new guy, and I learned real quick the trade, and I came up to be a group leader.
Okay.
I would have some welders. I hired up a friend from back in town.
Yeah.
And we're still in Sacramento. We came back to Utah for 6 months. And we're here while the phase 2 started up because of the rainfall in Sacramento gets pretty bad.
Yeah.
So then, we go back, just traveling out of my bag, same thing. And I was alone the whole time. And something I never thought was weird, because I guess I started quick, but I would go out to eat restaurants by myself. And I always saw this as normal.
Yeah.
But I realized, like, a lot of people it's hard for them to do that.
Right.
But I honestly, and it was tough at first, but I did learn to enjoy it, being by myself.
It kind of depends on what type of childhood you have. Right?
Yeah.
If your parents are there all the time, like you have a stay-at-home mom, what was your childhood like? Was your mom around? Did your mom work?
No, my mom didn't work.
Okay, so she was a stay-at-home mom, so she was there most of the time?
Yeah, she was there most of the time.
Cool.
I mean, my mom always had us food right after work, right after school,
Yeah. Okay.
dinner. So luckily, yeah, she was always there.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know. It never bugged me even to this day. Sometimes I just go out. I stopped complete alcohol, but I used to go out, had a beer, some wings, and
Yeah.
just have a good time. I don't know. I
By
never thought it
yourself.
was weird. Yeah, by
Oh.
myself. I never thought it was weird, but I noticed after a while, like, people were like, this guy just by himself over there. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was never a big deal to me, really. I was just like, hey,
No, I think that's cool if you can enjoy your own company,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Realistically,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm kind of that type too, where I kind of prefer being alone a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not alone much anymore,
Uh,
but I definitely do need that time where it's just me,
yeah.
whether that's going out and doing something by myself or just staying at home
Yeah.
and relaxing or whatever. So,
No, definitely. Yeah, I think it's good. Even when I was here by myself, and I had my own little place. I think when I first started, they rented me a room from one of our coworkers. He was a lot older, but um, on the weekends, I would just be like, I'm gonna do this to my truck, install a light, learn do some wiring, put some LED lights,
yeah.
or go out off-roading by this Bountiful Canyon. I would always go up it by myself, which not the safest thing, but yeah, I would just
Luckily,
go
you
out
didn't
by
go over
myself.
the edge in your truck when you were by yourself and no one found you.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly. Yeah,
bad.
that'd be pretty crazy. But no, luckily it never happened. And yeah, I do it to this day whenever I can. Obviously a little harder, like you say, you're almost never alone now. But
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I still cruise by when I can, enjoy some time.
So, were you born in Arizona then?
I was actually born in San Luis, Mexico, right across the
Okay.
border. My older brother and my two sisters were all born here, and then um, my mother's dad passed away, so she had to go down to Mexico, and I can't remember the exact story, but we're over there, and they had me over there.
So, are you a citizen of both then?
Yes,
Or
I'm a
what?
dual citizenship.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Okay.
started off obviously as a resident. My dad went through countless lawyers, but back then when it was a little easier, um, yeah, my dad would take me out of class on third, fourth, fifth grade. He would take me out of class. He would take me to lawyers. Lawyers would always. My dad didn't speak English, so
Okay.
they would kind of the lawyer game. They would take his money. Hey, oh, it didn't work out. Hey, oh, it
Uh,
didn't work out. It happened multiple times from what I remember. I was still very young.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, then finally it worked out. And then I went through the whole process. I got my residency. I was here 5 years. They require 5 years, and then by that time I was already sometime in high school.
Okay.
And I did my citizenship, and I think I have somewhere that picture when I went to Phoenix downtown and got my
Okay.
U.S. citizenship. And
So,
yeah,
how did your parents come to the United States?
my parents, my dad back in the day, so we live right by the border. My dad said he would cross the border like it was nothing back in the day. It would,
Really?
yeah, he would cross multiple times back and forth. And I don't remember exactly how he initially got his papers. He did somehow, I think, through my grandparents,
Okay.
but he did. And
But did they
then
live there? They live here for a while illegally first? Or
first, my dad, I believe no, but somehow with my grandpa fixed his papers,
okay.
and then he was legal here.
Cool. Okay.
And then he obviously fell in love with my mom in Mexico and everything. And then he's like, well, I need to bring you over. So he brought her across the border. And then my mom was undocumented for a while until he started going through all the process and everything. He always used to work, I mean, day and night, I remember, and to get all that
Yeah.
fixed up because lawyers
Okay.
are expensive.
Yeah, man. I have an employee that came across the border illegally. I think 3 times he had to cross because he got sent back twice. And man, some of the stories that he would tell me, at least with his experience,
Yeah.
sounds pretty brutal coming across the border.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends on where you're at, though, and maybe your dad's just built different.
Yeah. No, and my
But-
dad told me back in the day, like, I know like there's the long routes and through the middle of the desert and all that, but he told me he would literally go right like through the gate. Like
Interesting.
because it wasn't how it is now.
Right.
Now, I mean, you can't even get past through the desert.
Sure.
They have all these sensors in the ground and everything to catch people, right?
Yeah.
But my dad would, yeah, he told me he would cross. My mom did tell me a story once that she did cross through a desert, and it was really rough.
Okay.
Yeah, she did tell me this. I didn't think about it all prior to this, but she did. My mom did get to walk the desert at some point
Okay.
out there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what they go through. I mean, and in the pursuit of a better life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I'm yeah, my dad would always tell me, I just want you to be better than me while you're out here. So
Yeah.
still in that process, and I'm just glad we're out here and doing the right thing, working and just trying every day to be the best.
So I don't think we've ever got political on the
Mhm.
podcast, but do you have any opinion on immigration now, as far as like, what's your opinion on
Mhm.
people coming across the border?
So, to be honest, I know there's a lot going on at the border right now, but
Yeah.
I have probably years without watching the news
Sure.
or really keeping up
Same. I
with
don't
it.
really keep up with it because it's all garbage anyways.
Yeah, yeah, I don't really keep up with that stuff. But what I do know, um, is that people need to do it the right way. There's
Yeah, sure.
there's many ways of doing it, and it's always a sensitive subject in some cases, right? But
Yeah, sure.
I remember my dad just going through the whole process and doing it the right way, paying lawyers like he had admitted, my mom admitted, my mom got with the government at fault for when she got what ended up happening because she was here
Yeah.
illegally at the
Yeah,
time.
sure.
So she got penalized for a while. That's why the process took longer.
Yeah, sure.
But eventually, we went through it, and we went through it. My dad had to pay more lawyers. They paid the fines and everything. But at the end of the day, my dad kept paying the fines to the lawyers. We kept showing up to the appointments. It's a really hard process. I don't even have the idea because realistically, it was my parents, although I had to show up.
Yeah.
But I just think people have to do it the right way. A lot of people, it's tough, but they're trying to come here sometimes and get the handouts,
Yeah, for sure.
and that's not cool. That's what, there's so many ways to look at it because I know and seen some of those people that are just here and unemployment,
Yeah.
get the benefits, get the WIC, and then the average guys that we work and make above a certain amount of money. And even though it's rough, you don't get any of those benefits.
sure.
Like, in a way, I'm like, hey, you guys need to get to work.
Yeah.
You came here to work in the first place, but
Yeah.
now you're here and it's easy to get the benefits and all that because low income. Like, that's not, I don't think that's the initial reason why you came here.
Right.
So I think it just needs to be done the right way.
Yeah.
Go through the process, even though it's gone a lot more difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, right? That's gone a lot
And
more
I think
difficult.
it's a little bit hard for people if they don't have money or
Yeah.
whatever, if they're poor and they're coming from a situation where they're just trying to escape. And so, I can have some compassion
Yeah.
for that for sure. And we have, actually the majority of our employees
Mm-hmm.
at our dealership are from Mexico.
No.
And so, there are multiple people that have stories of crossing and, it's really interesting. It's really interesting what they go through just to try and make a better life for their families.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's really hard to get over here. And then, especially now, it almost seems like impossible from what I heard,
Yeah.
But I mean, once they're here, like I tell you, there's just two sides. I know guys that don't even have papers that are doing amazing. They have their own business
right.
and they found loopholes, and that's great. That's like, you're doing a great thing, but
Right.
unfortunately the system, it works in very different ways.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even understand it, and then at the same time, I know people that are here that, like when Donald Trump said all those comments and everything, like, it was just like, I was just like, well, damn, there is those people, unfortunately,
for sure.
that aren't here for the best interest of
Yeah,
everything.
sure,
But
sure.
there's always
and you're
two
always
sides.
going to get that for sure.
Yeah, there's always is. Just, there's always two sides. That's what I would say.
So I want to talk about this.
Mhm.
you recently won your battle with cancer for the second time.
Yeah.
Tell us about that whole story.
Yeah. Oh, that one's pretty a long one, a crazy one. But yeah, so it was only last year. Last year, not even a year and a half, on February. Um I'm finally at my best, and this is
Yeah.
the last year. I mean, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right, everything. But yeah, it was just a thing I never thought I'd go through, but I did. I was one time, and I felt a lump, and
In your balls.
yeah, 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 in my testicle,
Yeah.
yeah, in one of them. I still
Okay.
saw, right.
Yeah.
So there's still another one. Um, yeah, I felt a lump one night. I was just there in bed, and I'm not even the guy to be having my hand in there like
Yeah,
a lot
sure.
of guys do. So
That's me. I always have my hands
yeah,
in my pants.
yeah, I know. I see that. I'm like, I don't even do that. I probably should have done it. I would have even found out a little sooner.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I was doing that, and I felt a lump, strange lump. Not on the skin, but underneath the surface on the testicle itself, and felt it, and I immediately I felt like this heat in my face, kind of like, oh shit.
Mm.
Of course, I went up and Googled it real quick. And yeah, testicular cancer came up. Number one cancer in men in
Yeah.
America. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, kids diagnosed from the age of 15 or 45, it's like the main age. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, I don't think it is, but of course my nerves were up the roof already.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was going to work. I've been super busy, my job in my work, so I'm just go to work. Time I tell my girlfriend right away because I felt that nervousness, and then so she made me an appointment. Luckily, it took 2 days. Go to a doctor. He sends me to a specialist. Well, no, actually, he sent me to an ultrasound. So I found out Tuesday, and by that Thursday morning, I went with the doctor. That Thursday afternoon, I got a ultrasound, and then that Friday, I got let known it was something I should go see a urologist.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I went that next week, I believe. And basically, the urologist, he was some young guy around his 30s, early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, yeah, we need to take it out. Just like that. In my mind, I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, there's must be something we could do. I just, they're taking a body part out of me.
So he wanted to take your testicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it out right away.
Yeah.
And I'd never known nothing about cancer. I've had one of my cousins go through it, but never been so close, or how tumors work or nothing like that, right? I
Yeah,
don't think
sure.
many people do until they go through something. So he wanted to take it right out, and I was like, well, wait a second. There must something we could be, because he drew blood from me and there was no tumor markers
Okay.
in my blood. So I was like, maybe it's not even nothing bad and it could stay there, or they could take that piece out. If I could
Yeah.
go back, I would have been like, you know what? Yeah, just take it out, dude. Let's do it today.
Yeah, sure.
But I waited 3 weeks to go with the I did a lot of reviews, and this doctor, one of the best, board certified and everything. So I went with him 3 weeks later, and he's like, yeah, we got to take it out. We're doing it tomorrow. And I was like, oh, shoot. Well, all right. So yeah, then I got surgery. It was a quick 30-minute surgery. I was back to work within a week. Like, it was no major pain right on the groin area.
Yeah,
So
sure.
they do it. They don't go up to the sac how some people
Okay,
think.
sure.
They pull it out, rip it out, and that's that. So then I'm like, okay, well, that's it. Then I was like, well, I'm good. But then
Did they do like a biopsy of the tumor before, or did he say we just need to get it out?
yeah, no.
to
So
see
they
if
get
was
it out.
Cancerous.
Yep, they need to get it out. They don't go in there and try
Okay,
to get
so
a
he
biopsy.
took it out and then he did a biopsy on it.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And it resulted being cancerous.
Yeah.
Yep. So then I go to the oncologist here in Utah, and then he checks my blood. they actually didn't call me for a while. I was like, maybe I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
And I called and he was like, oh, yeah, we needed you to come in on this date. And they draw blood and like, yeah, we need you to start chemo ASAP. Your markers are elevating. It was still early stage.
Basically, that meant that there was still cancer somewhere else, or what?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Meant that there was still cancer spreading. And then the first area it goes to apparently is the lymph nodes connected to your
Oh,
testicles.
okay. Yeah.
So then he tells me, yeah, we got to start chemo right away, like next week.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just went pale, you know, like, holy fuck, this is real.
Yeah.
I thought that surgery and we're good to go. But did more research, you know, luckily, like testicular cancer, one of the only, I think there's like three curable, they consider curable cancers. And it's one of them.
Okay.
So that gave me a lot of faith, made me feel a lot better, you know. It's just bad times. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
It just makes you think like, I don't know. It's very, very hard to go through. I mean, feel a lot better now, obviously, but those times I remember it was cold on top of it. But so yeah, anyways, they go ahead and my parents come over. We're getting ready for my chemo week. And yeah, I didn't even know what chemo was or how it was, but basically an IV and they're pumping stuff into
Right.
you. And day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. It was so the ritual was 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then take 2 weeks off, and then again 5 days, then take 2 weeks off, then again 5 days. So 20 sessions total, taking
Okay.
2 weeks off
Okay.
in 1 week. Then yeah, the very first week I remember, you know, I didn't want to like go like be down. So
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, I felt good. Friday, I remember I wanted to do something, an oil change to my truck. I was like, I'm still good because I really didn't feel nothing by then. I still had my hair, everything.
Yeah.
Started working on my truck, taking off the skid plate, started working on it. And then Saturday, I woke up with, I had never experienced pain like a soreness all over my body, complete sore. And
This was after you'd done all the 20 sessions of chemo.
no, the first 5.
Oh, okay.
The very
Okay.
first 5 sessions.
Yeah.
But I hadn't felt nothing. I was like, in my mind, I was like, chemo ain't that bad.
Yeah,
I
sure.
was thinking to myself, but I didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
It taught me a lesson real quick that
Yeah.
Saturday. Like, yeah, I stayed in bed all day. I was super.
Okay.
I shouldn't have done that Friday.
Yeah.
And super exhausted, super tired, and Sunday. Yeah, that whole next week was rough. I remember I went back to work Tuesday because I was still working throughout this. I just didn't want to give up.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to keep showing up. So I remember I went to work Tuesday. I only took Monday off. And then the next chemo session, I went back to work Wednesday. And then the third week, I believe I didn't go to work at all. They told me it would progressively
Yeah, sure.
be kicking your ass more and more. And that's exactly what it did. I'm actually almost coming up here to my anniversary, July 4th. I remember I had family over at the new place me and my lady got. And I remember I invited them over, you know, we had some good food. My dad came, everybody, they were here, and they were all watching the fireworks, and I couldn't hang. I'm not that type of guy. I always like to be out there with everyone and
Sure.
being with everyone. And I can't believe I just couldn't hang. I went to sleep, and I remember I woke up around 10 p.m. It was still kind of some light in the sky, and they started throwing the fireworks. But yeah, it's horrible, you know. It's horrible. A lot of guys who work, they were like, you know, chemo's so bad. Like, don't do it. Don't do this. I'm like, I really kind of don't have an option right now.
Sure.
Even if you go full on,
I'm sure everybody. I'm
holistic.
sure so many different people, especially like the holistic people, want to give you their opinion as soon as you get diagnosed with something.
Yeah. That's exactly the buddy I was referring to. Like, it's just so bad for you. And I mean, it is. I remember signing the papers the night before and just reading through all those possible side effects, hearing loss, all these things. Some things that are still affecting, like what do you call it? A ringing in the ears, which sometimes I get spontaneously, but I think it's a lot how you take it.
Yeah, sure.
Because like I think I never got stuck in that, and then when it does, it still happens to me every once in a while. Like I'll just get a random thing, but I wouldn't say it affected me to that extent,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, or I don't let it at least linger in my head all the time.
Yeah.
So hasn't been a major effect on me, but it should clear out after a year, and I've been noticing a lot less and less. So
Cool.
um I'm hoping it fully goes away, and that's that. But I mean, those are things out of my control. I could
Yeah,
control
sure.
my own mind
Right.
and focus on the good things. But yeah, going back to it, after the 20 sessions were done, yeah, I rang the little bell, but I did not feel like I was done yet. It was just so hard. At that point I was looking super yellow.
Did you lose
Um
your hair and everything?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, when does this happen? You know, obviously I never knew. I knew people that were going through chemo would lose their hair.
Yeah.
So I was like, when does this happen? And I remember just letting my hair stay there as long as I could. I had nice my little comb over and everything.
Yeah.
All pretty boy style, but yeah, my hair grows different now. Actually, I
Does
can't
it?
even comb it over. Yeah, it grows a lot. How you call it? Curly. It grows
Oh,
out curly
interesting.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I noticed it's a little different now the way it grows in
Yeah.
general. So
Interesting.
I don't let it long anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't let it grow long anymore. They told me it was a possibility,
Mm.
and it ended up happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished the sessions, rang the bells. That was in August.
Mhm.
They did. So I rang the bell in July, and then in August they did my CT scan, and they told me free of disease, basically.
Yeah.
So then the way it works, every 2 months they would draw blood, and then they did a CT scan, and the CT scan came back good. They drew blood. They keep drawing blood. For the next month, it was August, I believe, October, and then October, November, December. They drew blood. Everything looked good on the blood. And then in February, it was time for blood again, drawing blood to look for any tumor markers, which everything came back good. But then they do a CT scan at 6 months just
Yeah.
to ensure. And you know, all my blood tests were coming out good. So in my mind, I was living my life back to normal.
Yeah.
I didn't feel much. I was starting to run 2-3 miles a day, feeling great. And then the doctor calls me about my CT scans this February.
Yeah.
So not even so long ago, and they tell me, hey, your CT scans came back a little bit abnormal. It looks like some of your lymph nodes are still growing on one of my sides. They're over the 1 centimeter, so it's still very early. I know some guys that got them cut off when they're like 5 centimeters.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, yeah, my world just collapses again. I believe I joined the group around November,
Okay.
October.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was living my best life. You know, we met up a few times at your house and everything. But anyways, yeah, he gives me his news in February, and I'm just like, my life ended to me again. I was like, holy fuck! In my mind, I had been this thing and forgotten all about it, even though it was just so recent. He tells me all these things that could happen. He's like, it looks like it's growing. Here's what could happen. Look, it's growing close to your kidney. You could lose a kidney. You could need blood transfusion. And what was the third one? I can't remember. They could cut my main artery and block my whole blood system for a bit. It's a massive surgery. It's called an RPLND.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew about it, but the chemo was the choice at the start with my cancer because it was so early. But yeah, he told me. So I go up to the huntsman. He sends me to the specialist. So they tell me all this. I thought it was going to be robotic, where they were able to go in, only do a few holes in me and do it robotically. But it's like, oh yeah, we're not doing it that way. We're going to cut you open. It's about large incision, about 8 inches from the bottom of your breastbone, right?
Yeah.
To the bottom of your belly button.
Okay.
So I was like, fuck. It's this time I never been surgery. I never been to a doctor as many times in my life. And now within a year, I've been to a doctor about 20 times or more and going through all this stuff. But yeah, Then I'm getting prepped. They give me a date in February, the end of February. They told me March 21st, we're gonna have your
And so
surgery.
they were going to go in and cut out the growth on your lymph node, or you take out your lymph nodes.
My lymph nodes.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
growth. Yeah, there ended up being tumors on the lymph nodes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, they weren't that big where they had to remove any kidneys. So
Okay.
the surgery turned out great, you know?
Yeah.
And well, I remember we're on the call, you know, where I was on the call with you guys. I remember, like I said, I was hanging out with my lady, her family, and I, even though I was around so many people and they loved me and everything, I knew at the end of the day how I always seen it. Like I'm gonna have to go through this. I'm gonna have to go through this on my own. So I did. I believe that night I was driving. Actually, I was driving back from the in-laws, and then that's when we're on the call, and I was feeling pretty down, but I don't know. I just I don't like spreading that energy. It just
sure.
feel like it makes it more realistic than I wanted it to be at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember you were calling out all the guys, right? How they were doing, and you called on me, and I was like, if there is a time to talk about this, it'd be with my boys, with you guys. You guys, I mean, every week we have the calls. You guys are always super supportive. It's every Sunday is something to look forward to. And I mean, yeah, you made me talk about it there. I mean, well, I want to talk about it too in a way. So it was for some reason that it turned out like that. And I shared it with you and in front of all you guys. I remember that night. I remember I was in the truck still getting down, and I started just kind of sweating from my forehead, like, oh, shoot. They actually called me out. I was remembering, I was like, I was going to pick on this Sunday, to share something. And it was me, and that's when I shared it. And I believe I shared a little bit. I didn't go too much in depth at the time.
Because you typically don't.
yeah, exactly. I was just trying to keep it as minimal, and then yeah, I felt good to let it out, with all you guys, all the guys. You guys are just badass, right? Everybody, the whole group, and then yeah, time went on. I didn't think much of it. And then, I mean, what you did was out of words, you went out of your way. And I remember you contacted my sister back in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Asked her some info, and she was asking me some questions. I was like, well, what's going on? The time I was just going through it, and well, then, I saw the post you did, right? That video you did. I remember seeing it at work, and I was like, I don't know. I never gone through something like this, and then nobody had ever done nothing like that for me. And I know how busy you are, with all your work and everything you got going on, and you went out of your way to go ahead and do this for me, which I wasn't expecting. And he did that GoFundMe, which was super helpful. But more than anything at that time, I remember it was the words you said, the words you said about me, because sometimes you know it, but when someone says something like that about you, it's just good. It feels good,
Sure.
Yeah, man, I couldn't be appreciated for you. That definitely, I was in a rough spot, and everything helped out. The GoFundMe, all those things you did for me, all the guys being there every Sunday. Yeah, it was super helpful. So I just, like I told you, I don't know how to thank you. I know you didn't do it looking for anything in return, but it feels weird almost to me in a way, because I don't know, I would never ask for something like that.
Yeah, sure.
My way. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course, man. It was honestly an honor. And like if that's not what a men's group is for,
No.
then what are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
You brought it up on that call, and I think we'd gone through almost the whole call, and you were just sitting listening.
No.
And, I called on every man to basically let us know what they're struggling with, what they're going through. And then you let us know that your cancer had come back.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was a huge shift in perspective for every man on that call, because we were talking about all the things that we'd been struggling with. And then you came in with that at, 26 years old, you're dealing with cancer for the second time.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, all the shit that I've been worrying about just doesn't really matter. And, I think it brought a gratitude to a lot of guys in the group, myself included, that, at that point, it was like, what can we do to help?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was an honor to be able to put that out and, have people rally behind you, help you cover some of your bills, at least while you were down for surgery, give you that moral support. And yeah, man, I'm honestly honored to know you, because you've struggled through something that most men will never experience, much less in their 20s.
Yeah.
And you, I think, embody the spirit of a conscious warrior in so many ways because of what you've been through and the optimism that you hold through all the shit that you've experienced. And it's inspiring to myself and so many other guys in the group. So we're so fucking grateful that you joined us, man, that you're with us, and you give so many guys in the group strength. And I think so much gratitude for the struggles that they're at in their life. And, like I said, we live in a world where as a man, we're not really taught to dump our stuff on other people.
Yeah.
We really talk about where we're at or the
Exactly.
things we're struggling with. And I think we've, as a society, lost the art of brotherhood. And I really believe that's what brothers are there for you to come to and be like, hey, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Because, women, children, they're not the ones that are meant to help us carry our burden, but other men can.
Yeah.
And that's the power of brotherhood, is you can come to your brothers and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. And they can say, I see you and I stand next to you. And I think that's what we did as a group. And it was inspiring to watch the guys in the group get behind you and fully support you and send you their prayers and help you a little bit financially where they could. And so, yeah, man, I'm just super grateful that you joined us and that you're with us, because you've inspired me in so many ways.
No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Those are kind words. And I'm glad I was able to do that for the group. And I'm super grateful for every one of the guys. I mean, even your wife, Shauna, she sent really good vibes out. So I'm appreciative for it. It came to this point where, my family's out here, brotherhood, like you said. But no, yeah, man, I taught me a lot, but being in this group and being surrounded by you guys, it just, it let me open up. To you guys. And you guys were always there. I remember you guys in the Discord where they're talking. You guys always showed your support. Reaching out. When the guys chance too on Instagram, they would reach out every once in a while. And it felt good, to have that, especially out here. I remember my mom wanted to take me back to Arizona, and are you coming back with me? And I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm staying out here. I'm already out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a place I just like it out here. You know?
What made you join the group? What inspired you to join us?
So I remember I saw you guys, how it started. I saw you guys were out by a campfire in the middle of Knowles and off-roading, having all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
And then I remember I reached out to you and a few of the guys that were there.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how I came across my social media. That's how I seen it. And then I just seen you guys had some badass videos. I remember going through your feed.
Yeah.
And seeing you guys had a fire and you were talking, and you were saying some things about the music, everything. It just looked badass how you guys got together by the fire and shared um, what you guys had been going through. I liked what you shared. I can't remember clearly
Yeah,
everything
sure. I don't
you
remember
would
either.
write in.
I don't remember what I said either.
Yeah, but and I was like, you know what? I never joined a group before, and there's tons out there.
Yeah.
And this was the group that I saw when I started talking to you a little bit more. I remember we messaged back and forth before I joined the group. I don't think it was that big at the time, as it is now. And and I remember I was thinking about it because I don't know. I never been that guy to kind of go out and feel like I needed that.
Yeah.
But I kept seeing through your story that night. I remember I stayed up. It was a Sunday. I had to work the next day, but I kept going, seeing everything you were about, the sauna, the ice baths, all these stuffs you guys were doing. And I was like, you know what? I need something like that in my life. I need some motivation. These guys look like they're always together. They're having a blast as they're doing all these, and they're doing good things.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what brought me. I remember I told you, and then yeah, it was my first time ever, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sign up,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna hang out with these guys. And I know nothing about it. I remember we went over to your house. We had a meet at your house where we did the sauna, ice
Yeah.
bath,
Just
and
a
all
guy's
that.
night at my house.
Yeah, just the guys'
Yeah.
night, just an average night, and that was one of the first times I'd done it, and now I do it like at least since my surgery. My surgery kind of threw me off, but
Yeah.
I was doing it multiple times a week. I even bought my own sauna at home,
Hell yeah.
a little sauna from
Yeah.
Amazon. It was like $1,400 or something, but I put it in there, and then I have an ice plunge at home too. So I started doing. I remember I seen you do it, and then from your house, I remember Chandler was into it for a while. He was doing it multiple times. I would
Yeah.
see a story. I was like, "Fuck, it's cold outside." But I was like, "Just embrace the pain, bro." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it." But it's hard, man. It's hard to do it every time.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
it gets easier. It gets a little easier. Yeah, a little bit. But
Well, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're inspired, to join us, and I'm so grateful that you did, that we could help support you through what you went through. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you one last thing: is as you went through this whole process of having battled cancer twice within a year, how did your relationship with God change?
oh, that's very yeah. It changed a lot right there. But yeah, it changed being a lot more connected, you know. I think I got a lot more connected with God. I remember some of the calls I asked you because I kind of didn't understand that connection
Mhm.
in a way. I asked you a few times, but I've been praying every night, and then just believing that it's for another reason I can't understand right now. It's going on for another reason that I just can't understand right now. And that he's trying to teach me some things
Yeah.
that I just didn't know. And I mean, honestly, as I'm going through life, I could see it. I could see what he was trying to teach me, maybe to slow down, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, slow down. That's what I want to think. But it changed my relationship a lot. I've been connected with God just in the way I see many things too, my family, and knowing to cherish moments in life,
Yeah.
the small things that really matter.
Mm.
Because when I was sick, all those little things,
They
going to
disappear.
the gym, they disappear.
Yeah.
Eating that food and tasting it to its full, all those things that we take for granted in a day-to-day life, they disappear.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, and I've been praying every night, and then asking God just before anything. I'm just thankful for being every day. I'm just
Yeah.
like thankful for today. I don't really ask for much.
Mm.
I'm just give me health and allow me to be here the time I'm gonna be here, and yeah, just just pray and talk with them, communicate more.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Carlos, you're a fucking stud, bro. Super glad that, we had the opportunity to meet, that you have been able to create a brotherhood with some of the guys that we've got in the group that are just, we've got just such a good group of dudes, and I'm super grateful for it. Every single day, I say it all the time. I started the group for myself. I needed it. I needed brothers. I needed support. I needed people that I could go to on a regular basis and be like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. Can you help me hold this? And we always get it with the group of guys that we've got. There's so much support. There's so many guys that can just hold space and just see you for you and where you're at, and support you in any way that they're able. And so, yeah, it's been such a beautiful process, man. And I'm super glad that you're a part of it, because I see you as a brother, your family now. And I feel your support all the time too. So I appreciate that, and appreciate you coming on, bro.
Oh yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah. And then let's keep going. I can't wait to start up this new phase of the group, starting up here pretty soon, right?
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it yet, but we are going to be starting up a headquarters here pretty soon, where we'll have our own facility where we can gather and do a whole bunch of cool shit. And, I feel like this is really just the beginning of the group. The last year has been just a learning phase, and now it's really going to start to make a dent in the world for good. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what you do with it. It's going to go big.
Hell yeah. And I'll have you right by my side, brother. So appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Where can people find you?
Find
Instagram?
Me. Yeah, Instagram. The official Carlos Rivera. Changed my names a few times, but that one's the one I'm sticking with.
Cool. Well, yeah.
Right on, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. And more stuff to come. And yeah. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.